Thanks, Paul. So what we'll do is this next bit is really for the patrons, the subscribers, the paying members. There was an incident in 2012, which was quite a significant incident, and it's kind of what led you, I think, into joining Mountain Rescue. Would you just like to take us through that really and describe the events of that day for us?
Yeah, Valentine's Day, quite auspicious. 2012. I got to do some scrambling on Dow Crags up in the Lake District, and I'd stayed at Holly Howe Youth Hostel the evening before, and did the scramble. Went up the easy gully, very nice, very enjoyable. On top, very, very windy, and a lot of ice and snow around, and so crampons were helpful.
Oh, just a minute, Paul. For some reason, I've just looked at Audacity. It's not picking up your channel. Just talk for me.
Hello. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Okay. Don't worry. What I'll do is I'll pick it up off the Zoom. I've got Zoom recording the audio, so that's fine. Right. Sorry, carry on.
Right. So, yeah, and as I got, I went from Dow Craigs to walk round to the Old Man of Coniston. And as I'm crossing towards the Old Man, across the little saddle there, it's so windy, people are crawling on hands and knees. And my intention was to drop down to Coppermines Valley via the Levers Horse Path. But it had got a snow cornice on it. And I thought probably not the safest thing to try and get down to it. So I came back and I started going down Brimfell to pick up the path lower down.
Mm-hmm.
The last thing I remember, it was 3:30, and I stepped over a small, tiny stream. And that's the last thing I remember. The next thing that happened, I came round and I was laid in snow at the foot of some crags, and Brimfell is like a football field, but it has one set of crags on it that lead down into a boulder field. And I didn't realise I was at the foot of the crags, but I got all this snow on my head, and I put my hand up, pulled my hand down, and my hand was red, that colour. And my scalp was peeled back there, and I was actually feeling my skull.
Blimey.
And I thought, I'm in a spot of bother. I'm in trouble. I need help. But my rucksack had come off in the fall, and that was about 20, maybe 30 feet below me across these boulders. And somehow I managed to get to the rucksack and get my phone out, and I got a phone signal. I was fortunate here. I got a phone signal, and I also had a spare phone, and I'd also left a route card at Holly Howe. By this time, it's 4 o'clock, 4:15. Phoned Mountain Rescue. Got put through to, I think it was either Lossiemouth or Bulmer. Can't remember. That's a bit hazy. They asked me a location and somehow managed to do a resection and give them a grid reference.
Okay. Quite impressive.
Yeah, it was. It was, considering what I didn't know then. They cranked up a Sea King and contacted Coniston, who phoned me to tell me that they were on their way.
That's Coniston Mountain Rescue.
Coniston Mountain Rescue, sorry, yeah. My wife phoned because we were due to be going out for a meal that night because it's Valentine's Day. She phoned me to see how we're going on, and all I could say was, I'm just waiting for Mountain Rescue. And the phone open, channel open. So got my survival gear out. I had one of those big orange bags. Couldn't put it over my head because I had all these injuries. So I just got in it. Still got crampons on. Still got all my clothes on. Wrapped my head in in a bandage, in some fashion. Put extra clothing on. Made myself a cup of tea and a bit of cake. I had a bit of cake. I'd got a bit of cake. Sat and waited. I think I went in and out of consciousness.
Yeah.
I can remember nothing of the period between 3:30 stepping over the stream and coming round at 4 o'clock. That is just a complete blank. There isn't even an absence of something. There's literally nothing. Bulmer's phoning me, keeping me going. I start to see Coniston Mountain Rescue, the section, they start working their way around Levers Water towards me. At the same time, the Sea King arrives, and there's a photograph on Coniston's website of the Sea King hovering above me, shining a light on it. By this time, it's dark, and it's cold. It's cold. I think they get to me about 5:15, and I think I lose it then. I think I sort of succumb to my emotions, and I can't remember too much else. I remember somebody coming up to me. I remember somebody getting told off because they slipped and they got half a bell stretcher on their back. I remember a doctor. I can't think. I think I took some paracetamol, my own paracetamol or whatever. I don't know. But I think I went in and out of consciousness. But my injuries were quite severe. It took. They got to me about 5:15, and it was 8:30 before they lifted me off.
Right.
So it was a long time.
Yeah.
It was a long time. And I'd broken my ankle, broken my leg, badly injured my shoulder, badly injured my head. I'd got 8 broken ribs. All the front of my teeth, they were all shoved up into the roof of my mouth. So I've no idea how I ate cake. And I can honestly say, I can't remember any pain at all.
Right.
And I crawled over the boulder field to get to the rucksack.
Wow.
And I can't remember any pain whatsoever. By the time they lifted me off, I was suffering quite badly from the cold as well, I think. Because when I got into the helicopter had been waiting that long. They were going to originally take me to Maryport, I think. They had to divert because they were running out of fuel to take me to Carlisle. And all I can remember is just lots of people around me. I can remember somebody saying to me, I think I got put in a CAS bag, and I think I got put in a vac mat. And I can remember somebody saying to me, we're going to lift you up and we're going to take you to the hospital. There must have been a winchman. There must have been somebody from the helicopter down there on the ground, and they took me up. I got into hospital. There was a bit of something happened, so I ended up going in face down, face down into the helicopter. I can remember lots of swearing, lots of shouting, getting pulled out again, out of the helicopter again, back in, again face down, going across the floor on my face. I've no complaints, honestly. I can remember coming back, getting pulled out again, getting turned around, and eventually I end up on looking up at the ceiling. I get flown to Carlisle. Hypothermia became a problem, and I need quite serious warming up. I had some operations that night. Then I had some more operations during the next day. And then 5 days later, my wife was driving me home. And so that was the 14th of February 2012. I've got a photograph of me in June walking down Brimfell.
Wow.
With 2 walking poles, a walking pole in each hand. And I've got a photograph. Alison took a photograph of me. So I went and did the walk again in June.
4 months later, despite all those injuries.
Yeah. And the hardest bit about it, the hardest thing, when I got home from the hospital, I couldn't work out how to get over the doorstep. I couldn't make my body do it.
Uh-huh.
And I've since learned that what happens in trauma is that the muscles lose their nerve connections. So although the brain might be telling it to do it, the connections just aren't there. So the muscles move and they have to relearn it all. They have to be reconnected.
Right.
So that was quite interesting. That was quite, and I slept on the ground floor for the first couple of nights. Then I crawled up the stairs to a small bedroom, to this room, which was a small bedroom then. And the doctor came to see me, and I could tell by the look on her face that I didn't look pretty. And I managed to get into bed, climb up, because we've got 4 floors in our house. I managed to climb upstairs into bed. And then I think in July, I had an operation to take all the steelwork out of my leg, or most of it. There's still some left in. And they took all the steelwork out, and I continued the rehabilitation. It took me, I think, maybe 4 or 5 years to get back to a level of fitness. And it wasn't so much fitness, it's just the body moving again over terrain.
Mm-hmm.
But the body learning how to work again.
Right.
That was the thing. Getting the muscles moving again, and
there wasn't a confidence issue involved at all then.
No, it wasn't. Although there is a bit of, and I can only imagine it's from that. If I'm going down somewhere that's very steep, I can tend to take it a step at a time. And I don't know whether that comes from that. So I won't walk down. Mm-hmm. I'll sort of step at a time down. Mm-hmm. Still get there. I don't mind exposure. Exposure is not the issue. It's when I'm looking down on something that's quite steep that tends to be a thing. And I still to this day have no idea what happened. I think what happened is one of 3 things. I think I've either the wind, because it was so strong, has blown me over, and I've hit my head on a rock and then slid down the snow slope and gone over the edge. Mm-hmm. Or I've caught my crampon in my leggings, gone over, hit my head, slid down, gone over the edge. Or I've got my crampons fast in something, a piece of vegetation, whatever it is, and gone over the edge. That's the only thing I can explain that got me from where I was to where I ended up. But I've absolutely no recollection of it. I wrote, I've always been a big one for thanking people. So I wrote to the hospital, to the surgeons and the nurses, and sent them some chocolates, and got a very nice letter back from the surgeon telling me what they'd done. And the manager at Holly Howe, he'd actually looked at my route card at 5:15, saw that I hadn't returned and I was supposed to be back at 5:15, and he'd raised the alarm as well.
Okay.
To be told by Mountain Rescue, we're already addressing it, we're on his way to him.
Right.
So I wrote to the chief executive of Youth Hostel Association, and he got an award for that.
Oh, excellent.
And I sent him a bottle of whiskey and stuff, and he got an award for it. And then I sent a donation up to, I sent a letter of thanks and a donation up to Coniston Mountain Rescue.
Mm-hmm.
And the treasurer, Jeff Carroll, he phoned me up because I put my phone number in. Well, no, because he got my phone number. That was right. And he phoned me up just to thank me and just to see how I was. And I did the classic. I'm really, really sorry that I put you to all this trouble. I'm really sorry. And Jeff went, no. We really enjoyed it. You really made a mess of yourself. It was a proper rescue. And I think that was the moment that I thought, yeah, pay something back, become a member of Mountain Rescue.
Okay.
And it was that, just Jeff saying that. And I thought, that's what it's about.
Yeah. Typical Mountain Rescue response, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
It was great. There was blood everywhere. Better than any training.
Yeah, exactly. Foul night and everything, you know. So yeah, and so I started with Woodhead in 2013. I wasn't up to full fitness then. I'm probably up to full fitness now. Back to what my fitness was, bearing in mind it's 9 years down the line, and I'm 62, so a lot of things have changed since then. And the experience changed me. It changed me psychologically, definitely. Yeah, that was the start of the writing, because I genuinely thought, if I've survived this, I'm going to do what I want.
Yeah,
I'm no longer going to do what people tell me to do. I'm going to do my thing now, and that's where bizarrely I got the courage to do the other stuff.
Okay, yeah.
And yeah, it was as simple as that.
It's often those moments where people see their mortality, though, isn't it? It makes them think, do you know what? There's more to life than just.
Yeah, I think I read. I think it was Doug Scott that said, because I met Doug on the BBC One show.
Okay.
I asked to go on there to talk, because obviously he had a bad accident, much worse than mine. So we just got talking, and I've met him a couple of times since. And he was telling me, he says, if when people have a really traumatic accident like he had and like I had, they do one of two things after. They sit in front of the telly for the rest of their life, or they become more adventurous. And he became more adventurous, and that's the way that I went, not by design, but that's just the way that. So I do much more adventurous things now.
Yeah.
I go into terrains that I would never have contemplated before.
Okay.
And the writing and everything, and it's almost as though, what's the worst that can happen?
Well, yeah.
You know, I've gone through that. If I die, I die. I'm not going to know anything about it. I can't remember anything about it. Then 30 minutes, was I dead? Was I dead? I have no idea. So if that's what death's like, well, so what?
Yeah.
Get stuck in and enjoy it.
Yeah.
And that's really has freed my mind up from a lot of things.
Okay, that's really good.
It's made life much more enjoyable, much more relaxing, and much more exciting.
Great. It's great when such positive things come out of such horror, isn't it? Really.
Yeah. You know, and I've met huge amounts of people. You know, Scout came out of that.
Yeah.
My dog.
Okay.
He came out of that, and last year we were doing a walk in White Peaks, and we had lunch with us backs against a limestone wall, looking over a beautiful valley, and it was just a fantastic moment. And all that is as a result of something that was a traumatic event. Yeah, and that's the connection.
Yeah,
really.
Yeah. Looking back on when you were lying there in the snow, is there anything you did you think particularly that helped save your life, or is there anything you wish you'd done?
I had my survival gear.
Okay.
The things that saved my life, I had my survival gear. However badly I applied it, it focused my mind on doing something.
Mm-hmm.
I had my phone, and I had a spare phone as well.
Right.
The phone packed in.
Right.
The battery went flat because of the
Yeah.
cold.
Yeah.
So I had a spare phone, and I'd left a route card.
Yeah.
And those three things were instrumental in me surviving. If I had had that phone, I don't know how long I'd have been out on that fell, and I don't know how long I'd have lasted in those conditions at night, in snow, unable to move.
Yeah.
Don't know. So yeah, definitely had the gear and applied it, and I can't remember thinking when I those horrible orange bags that you buy.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember thinking getting into that made me warmer. That didn't occur to me, and maybe it didn't. But there was a psychological thing about it. Doing it and getting into it made me think, this is what I'm supposed to be doing, and that's what, this is what I'm supposed to do next. This is what I'm supposed to do next. This is what I'm supposed to do next. Until Coniston got to me, and then that's when I let go of my control of me.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that those are the important. Having the survival gear, leaving a route card, having a mobile phone.
And what was your survival gear in that case? Orange survival bag,
obviously. Orange plastic bag.
Yeah.
It was extra layers of clothing. It was a hat. It was a very, very basic first aid kit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the small life systems one that you see. And I don't think it did any good. To be honest, I don't think it stemmed the flow of anything. It didn't resolve anything. But what it did, it gave me something to do, and made me feel as though I was participating in my own survival, because I did know it was a survival situation.
Yeah.
If I hadn't have got help, I won't be here talking to you.
Yeah.
I know that.
Yeah.
So I think that was it, really. I think that was it. I mean, if anybody wants to go on that fell now, my gear's scattered all around there. So there's a GPS walking towards all sorts.
You've just started a treasure hunt.
I can find it. Yeah, and I mean the ability to do a resection in them conditions, that I don't think we're back to. I don't think that's normal. Really? Is that normal? You've cracked your head, you've scalped yourself, there's blood all over the place, you've got broken bones all over. You do a resection? Let the mind take you, where take you, I think. And I think that is something, that the brain, the mind has the power to be able to take you somewhere safe.
Yeah. Yeah.
In any circumstances, really.
Yeah.
And I didn't know it at the time, but I allowed it to, and it helped me. It helped me.
But it shows as well, I think you wouldn't have been able to do that if you'd lost your head, but you kept your calm.
Yeah. Well, it's back to what we're talking about, the process. The process. And that came from the ranger training that I'd had in knowing what to do. And there's a process. So let's go through each step of the process. Get yourself right first, raise help, then get yourself as warm as you can be, as protected as you can be, and wait. And so it is the methodical step-by-step algorithm, if you like.
Yeah.
Work through it do the next right thing, and that probably did come from ranger training. So I was fortunate in having that. I can't think of anywhere else that it would have come from, other than my own work background, which was production engineering and that kind of thing.
Brilliant. Well, it's good to see you so well recovered and providing such good stuff for the world in your books, in your guidebooks, and I'm looking forward to the novel. Hopefully it'll be a really, really good read.
Thank you. And the big advantage, it never changed my looks.
Well, you can't have everything, can you? Paul, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for giving me your time, and I shall let you get back to Alison now, because you're probably pulling her hair out with us.
Cheers, mate. That's fantastic.
Brilliant. Take care, Paul. Take it easy.
Bye
Bye now.